to go ahead and say what no one else is willing to say. So if you're a lover girl or a mediocre man, go ahead and click off this video because you won't like it, or you can cry in the comments. In order for us to achieve peace on planet Earth and get the things that we want to get out of this life, we're going to have to delete 90% of men. Yes, that includes your awful baby daddy and your ancient father. So if I was president of the universe, we would literally structure society so that we can finally achieve a matriarchy. But in order to do that, we have to get rid of most men because let's just face it, most men are not going to change. There's literally not enough time on planet Earth to change the heart of a trash man, and there's nothing you can do. We would literally need the second coming of Christ in order to change some of these men on this planet. And so what I'm suggesting is that we literally get rid of them using the science that we already have. Elon Musk has said that by the year 2031, we will be able to support life on planet Mars. So I'm suggesting that we ship 90%, the bottom 90% of men to Mars so that we can achieve the patriarchy. And what does that leave us with? That leaves us with the top 10% of men, 5% of which are the men who are loyal to their wives and devoted husbands. And the other 5% are the men who have amazing gene pool, great IQ, good bone structure, good hair, skin, tall, fine as fuck. You know what I'm talking about. So since 2031 is a couple years away, that gives us enough time to decide what are the traits that we want to keep from the men on planet Earth and how do we want to repopulate the planet. We can have sporting competitions to decide who is the most athletic. We can have mental competitions to see who is the smartest, the best IQ. We can have social competitions to decide who has the best heart and who is the most emotionally viable. But if we want to actually have a chance to fight as a matriarchy and become the great planet that we know we can be, we have to get rid of 90% of men in order to do this. And that means you're going to have to detach from the idea of everyone getting a soulmate because that's just not realistic. Now,
this is the first realistic thing she said. The first. Not all of you gonna get someone. And not all of you are worthy of being with someone, right? That if we can be honest, right? And none of this is honest, or I think this is more delusional than anything. Yeah, not all of us are going to pair off, period. And this is one of these creators, is one of these people you meet where their entire personality is wrapped around, misandry. Right? It was just, can we just call this what it is? Just call it misandry. Because if a man was talking about get rid of 90% of the women so we can basically procreate with the ones that the 10% are left, and we can decide on boob size and ass size, and no, you that creator be shut down completely. Before we continue with this misandry, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. I wanted to highlight this video because I know she came under fire for saying something similar, and to the point where you turn off the comment, delete the videos, change your name, all of that. But this is sort of like her personality. And you see a lot of creators like this, some not to this extreme, but everything is sort of twisted and turned into some sort of male hate. And then it's allowed to stay on these platforms. We just don't look at misandry the same way we look at misogyny. And maybe it's because you think men can easily turn violent and use that. That's a bigger threat. But if we want to push equality, we want to push fairness, then it has to be the same. When we're very quickly to call out communities of men where they disparage women all the time, but when women do it, we don't say anything. We let it go. And to think that's somehow going to heal the divide, that's going to make more of these people in the fringe of the community say, "Oh, maybe I had things wrong." When content like that is allowed to stand, when the other content that males create that is awful, you ban that quickly. You ban them to the corners of the internet. But this is just pushed. This is just constantly pushed. No pushback, no nothing, no strikes. It's allowed to propagate, and no one says anything. So when men turn around and just say, "You know what? I really can't stand y'all. I really can't stand y'all," it's because it's women that put stuff out like this, and then people in the comments that get ahead and still sort of give this life. People that reference this, people that think that some of the stuff she's saying is a good idea.
After we've gotten rid of 90% of men, you probably are asking, Ace, what do we do after that? Now we got all these women on this planet. What are we going to do? I am suggesting that we begin to rebuild our societies centering around women, children, and the elderly, meaning our housing complexes need to literally be built in a circle, supporting children in the center and having the rest of the society, the rest of the neighborhoods be built around this. Now, you're probably wondering, well, we got rid of all the men. Who's going to do our construction work? We can literally 3D print our houses if we want to, or we can have strong women do the work. If you know anything about strong women, a strong woman is as good as a man, as competent as a man. And the best part about women is that not only can they be strong and competent, but they can also produce more men if we need to. Except this time the men will have great genes because we weeded out all of the bad gene pool. And I know some of
You can't really weed out the bad gene pool when you haven't weeded out the gene pool for women. I know we're going to lean into delusion for a little bit here, but when you think that a strong woman is the same as a strong man, you know genetically there's biological differences why that doesn't hold water. It's not saying that women can't build, saying that at all. You can definitely build the society that you're looking for, but when it's built on the this concept that we're going to hold for the male population, you still need, and again, I don't want to lean too much into this. I really don't. But when we look at actual data of when you have, say, lesbian relationships, there's high rates of DV. We know that women sort of hate other women, especially in leadership positions. You see, there's plenty of TikToks right now going around about how, yeah, the female boss was kind of awful to work under. You undermine each other in different ways, much unlike men, but it's still there. We pretend like there's such a big separation between the sexes, between the genders, but we do the same things in just different ways. Men are going to compete with other men in different ways than women compete with other women. When you want to get nasty, you tend to go different areas. Violence is there, but violence doesn't tend to be the key. Men don't go around sort of disparaging other men through sort of gossip, through reputation destruction. We tend to get violent very quickly, and that's sort of how we move. We make it seem like just if you have an all female society or matriarchal society, that it would simply be a utopia. But experiments have shown that's really not the case. I think if we can get back to the idea that we're better together rather than we're going to such an extreme, I think we can dismiss with a lot of this nonsense. And this is me being as polite as possible with her content like this. Me, I find it reprehensible. I find it disgusting. I find it, and it's the same thing whenever I see people being misogynistic or misandrous. I just think it's like you don't have a mother, you don't have a father, you don't have anyone in your life that was ever nice to you, that showed you that not everyone is awful, not everyone is bad. But again, what is negative sells, and this is wholly negative in my opinion. If you think otherwise, let me know down in the comments, of course, as usual. If you see other videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And if you listen to my voice, you made it to the end of this video, I think you should subscribe. If you haven't, fingers crossed that you already did. I'll see you in the next one.